Open Broadcaster Software, or OBS, is a free tool that you can use to record videos on your computer and live stream to your students. In this tutorial, we'll go over everything that you need to know in order to get started. Before we download the program, let's quickly talk about what OBS can do for you. Once it's set up, you can choose any window, screen, or webcam on your computer to be recorded, along with any audio devices of your choice. This recording feature can be a great option for recording lectures, presentations, or specific lessons that you don't want to give to your students live. On the other hand, OBS also functions as an encoder, enabling you to live stream to a variety of websites like YouTube and Twitch. These live streams are a great way to interact with your students through open hours or long discussions where you think it's a little bit too much content to put into a regular pre-recorded lecture, and overall will just help with student engagement. First, download OBS by heading to obsproject.com. You can also just search OBS Project on Google and click the first link. On the front page of the website, you'll see different options to download depending on what operating system you're using. Once the installation finishes, open the file. After launching the program, choose where you want to install it and then click Finish. This is the first thing that you'll see when you open OBS for the first time. It will ask you if you want to run the Auto Configuration Wizard. This wizard will scan your computer and, along with our input, choose the optimal settings for the content that you want to deliver to your students. Click Yes to move forward. The next setting it will ask you is if you want to optimize your setup for streaming or recording. For our purposes right now, we'll start with optimizing just for recording. We can change this setting later when we want to switch to streaming. The next settings it will ask you is if you want to change your resolution or FPS. FPS means frames per second. For your resolution, you can most likely keep this the same. It will use your current monitor and find out whatever resolution it is, so you don't need to worry too much about changing it to something else. For your frames per second, you can keep it at the default option, but you can also switch it to 30 FPS, since anything above that isn't really needed. After that, it will show you your final results, which will just kind of go over all of the settings that you have applied. Click Apply Settings and continue on. Now that we've applied all of our settings, this is what you'll see. Let's go over a few key areas in the OBS program to get you situated. In the top left-hand corner, you'll see a toolbar, where you have a variety of options to edit settings, change the view or layout of your screen, and to get help. You probably won't need to mess around with any of these, but you should know where they are. In the middle of the program, you'll see a black screen. This is where you'll eventually see everything that you are recording or streaming, a preview window of sorts. In the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see two windows, Scenes and Sources. Scenes are visual profiles that you can set up to contain different items. Let's think of a scenario to make it easier. Say you wanted to stream a lecture to your students using a PowerPoint and your webcam, but on other occasions you wanted to stream a Google spreadsheet to your students and not use a webcam. You can create two separate scenes that accomplish these scenarios, and you can easily select between the two. Next to the Scenes window are Sources. This is where we will tell OBS what windows and webcams that we want to record and show. Using the previous scenario I just gave, let's go through adding some sources and creating the two different scenes. The first thing we need to do is create a new scene. Click the plus icon under the Scenes window. Name your scene specifically so that you can stay organized. I named mine PowerPoint plus webcam. After you click OK, you should be able to see your newly created scene in the list. Make sure it's selected and highlighted. Now, we're going to add the PowerPoint window and webcam to our scene. This is where our sources come in. Click the plus icon under Sources and you will see a variety of options on what you can add. Let's quickly define the main methods you can use. Display Capture will capture your entire monitor, not only specific programs. We don't suggest using this method unless you're planning to move through a variety of tabs during your lectures or recordings. The primary method you want to use is Window Capture, which will only show the specific window that you choose. Let's add our PowerPoint by clicking the Window Capture button. Remember, you should have your PowerPoint already open on your computer to make this step easier. Name your window capture something specific to stay organized, like PowerPoint. After you click OK, you'll see that you can select which specific window you want to capture. Luckily for me, the first window it found was my PowerPoint, but if you see something else, use the drop-down menu under Window and change it to your PowerPoint. You can keep all of the other options the same and click OK. Now, instead of a black screen in OBS, you should see your PowerPoint window being previewed. This is the only window that the viewer would be able to see, even though OBS is on top of it. This is why window capture will usually be the source type you want to use. Let's add our webcam now. Click the plus icon again under Sources, and instead of clicking Window Capture, we will choose Video Capture Device. Name it Webcam, and after clicking OK, you should see a small preview of your webcam with a bunch of settings that you can modify. As you can see, my webcam is black because I have it covered. You can configure video settings like brightness and contrast, but for the most part, you can keep all of these settings default unless you specifically want to change something. The one thing to note here is at the bottom. If you have a microphone that you want to talk through that isn't the webcam's internal microphone, click Use Custom Audio Device and select it there. After clicking OK, you should be able to see your webcam in your preview window. Simply click and drag it to your desired spot, and you can easily scale it as well. Alright, so we've created our first scene. Let's create the next one, which will just be a spreadsheet view with no webcam. Under the Scenes window again, click the plus icon and create a new scene. I named this one Spreadsheet Only. As you can see, when you click OK, the PowerPoint window and webcam disappear and it's back to a black screen. Let's add our spreadsheet by adding a window capture source and selecting it. For my example, I used Google Sheets, but if you use a different program like Excel, you would just select that program instead. Now, we successfully created two different scenes, each with different capabilities. The reason why creating scenes is nice is because you don't have to redo all of these steps every time you want to change views, and you can easily switch between them just by clicking their name under the Scenes window. So we've created our scenes and shown how sources can be used in order to add windows and webcams. Now let's talk a little bit about audio to make sure that you're using the correct devices so your students can hear you. Next to the Scenes and Sources window is the Audio Mixer, where you can see a real-time view of when you hear and speak. If you wanted to play sound through your computer like a video or audio clip, this would be played through desktop audio. Let's make sure it's set up to the right source. Click the gear icon next to Desktop Audio and click Properties. Select your intended audio source, which probably says something like speakers or headphones. You'll notice that you can change the volume of the audio source by using the slider, and you can also mute it anytime you want. To make sure your microphone is working, click the gear icon next to the mic/aux channel and select Properties as well. Here you can select your intended microphone. You should see real-time feedback for when you talk into the microphone to show that it's working. You can also adjust the volume of your audio with the sliders and mute them whenever you want. It's important to know that OBS uses voice activity as the default way of inputting audio, which means that your microphone will always be on, so if you ever want to mute it, make sure you click the button. So let's say that you wanted to record a lecture or lesson offline and send to your students at a later date. The first thing we'll want to do is go back into the settings and go to the Output tab. Under the options for recording, you can change the recording path, which is where your file will be stored. You should know that these videos can take up quite a bit of space, so you can always put it onto an external flash drive or hard drive. We also suggest changing the recording format to MP4, which will usually be the easiest to work with after you've finished recording. You can leave all the other options here the same. After you click Apply, you're ready to start recording. On the right-hand corner, you'll see the option to do so. You can also pause your recording if you'd like. Press Stop Recording, and you should be able to see your file wherever you placed it. And that's about all you'll need to get set up for recording videos. Let's talk a little bit more about streaming now. Put simply, OBS acts as an encoder, which means that if you want to stream what you're seeing on OBS's preview window, you need to connect to an external website like YouTube Live or Twitch TV. Now that we know how to add scenes, sources, and audio, setting up streaming shouldn't take too much work. We recommend using YouTube Live to stream, and we've actually created a tutorial on how to manipulate OBS and connect your YouTube account with it to create a live stream that your students can watch and interact with you in. We'll put the link to the video in the description, so take a look at it and create a live stream. Open Broadcaster software is a very complicated program, and it has many settings and tools that you can eventually utilize once you start to get some more experience. For now, the setup we created should be perfect for hosting office hours, creating video recordings or lectures, and anything else you can think of. Please feel free to leave a comment or reach out to us to get more help.